Welcome to the MCSFO Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Ray, and I have such a special treat for all y'all Westworld fans out there like me. I have one of the cast members from Westworld. He works closely with Tandy Newton and a couple of other people, and as an extra little hint, we've met before back in 2018 for all y'all Atlanta folks who know. Leo Nam, who plays Felix Lutz on Westworld. Welcome, Leo.
Hi, how you doing?
It's good to see you again. I think the last time we saw each other was when in 2018 for season 2, right?
Yeah, it definitely was then. I think I saw you in Atlanta, in
Yes.
the flesh.
Yes.
This is definitely not happening now.
No.
No, we have
But
quarantined away, but we're socially distant, but we are connected.
exactly. And I mean, we're making it work. We're both at home making this, kind of thing happen. And I think this
Mhm.
is a testament to technology and how we can use it for some fun things like this.
Yeah, yeah, some excellent things. We can still
Yes, for
have fun
sure.
with it, yeah, and still feel connected. It's a very interesting feeling, and it still has some semblance of the sameness, but there is also a newness to it, which we need to embrace.
Right.
I think people find that difficult. Change is difficult for so many people, but change is the one thing that is constant. And as we evolve, as we grow as people and society, I think enthusiastically embrace that change. And now, by enthusiastically embracing it, here we are sharing
Exactly.
our experience. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you again.
You're very welcome. So my question to you is, how are you doing first in this pandemic with everything going on? How's everyone on your end?
Mm.
Everyone
Ah,
doing
thank
good?
Yeah, thank you for asking. It's certainly a very can be a very scary moment. You have moments that are very scary, but then I think within that you also have moments that are kind of quite beautiful too. And the beauty I think comes in the human need for a connection. So I really appreciate you asking me that. I've been asking and telling people to do the same with others, especially now that we're so isolated from each other for public health. But my family's doing great. We live in a place where we have a backyard and a front yard. We've got lots of outdoor space. So my kids are 3 and they just love running around and obviously touching everything too. So it's hard to explain to them not to. But our house is, clean and but everywhere around us, we live near the beach and the jungle gym and what have you. That's all closed. So it does feel a little eerie walking around. And I think we were speaking about this earlier. There was a little bit of that first initial rush to go to the grocery store. That was a scary moment going by and seeing that. And then what happened was that I then connected with people around the world that I knew. Once you
Mhm.
know that this is the global thing, I connected to my family in London, my family in Australia. I had some family in Korea as well that were telling me what was happening over there.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, it's pretty it's a pretty uncertain time that we're in right now. But what I am certain of is the human need to connect.
Mhm.
My sister just sent me a video of people clapping in London, cheering on the people on the front lines.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, beautiful. Everyone opens their doors and claps.
Mm.
It's fantastic, actually. But
Awesome.
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Good, good. I had one interesting, funny thing that came to my mind though when you said grocery shopping, because I
Yeah.
didn't picture you grocery shopping. So in my mind, I was like, "What if we were at the grocery store and I see you like, oh, it's not a pandemic, it's a movie set?" Because seriously, I'm Felix, we must be in a
What's
Westworld.
going on? Is this Westworld?
Got it. Can you imagine though being someplace with all this going on and you see an actor? It would be really, it would stop someone and they'll be
It'll
like,
be a trip.
right,
You'll be like,
because
what?
you'd want to fan out and just be like, oh, autograph. But like, no, because everything is happening. No, I can't do
Yeah.
this. It's like, what do you
I
do?
saw. It's funny. I saw at my local supermarket a couple of people, that know me from movies and stuff like that. And it was an interesting kind of nod to each other. You know, because previously they would always come up to me and be like, "Hey," you know, and I know them. But it was a strange moment where you kind of have to look at each other and be like,
Yes.
right, yeah. I
Yes.
mean, it wasn't the first time. You know,
Mhm.
that would be I think that's what you were talking about. The first time where you'd be like, "What's going on?" Like, "Oh my god!"
Right.
But yeah, it is a strange time.
Mhm, mhm, for sure. Well, I have a
Mm,
couple of questions, and we had a couple of things that some people on Facebook and just different people had to ask. But I'm gonna get my
sure,
personal questions out of the way first.
get it in.
So, my first thing is, we talked, of course, about what's going on right now, and how even what we're doing now, we're forced to see each other through the computer, right?
Hmm.
So everyone's online. I was also nervous about doing this podcast uh, video through the internet because everyone's online and on the internet right now.
Yeah.
So it made me wonder, okay, this is how we're so heavily dependent on technology. And, Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan was always, talking about that as a cautionary tale, how much we're depending on it. And I kind of feel like the virus is pushing us to that narrative that they talk about in Westworld as being a reality in a sense.
Hmm.
We're on that path. What do you feel about that?
You know, one thing that I have always been floored um, by what Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy do is that they have such detail and such thought that goes into the show and into each season, and into the themes and of what they're asking the audiences to think about. And that's been since the beginning. They've asked us to look at technology and how dependent we are on it. um, I think yes, definitely. What COVID-19 is making us do is heavily taking a moment to look at ourselves, at our lives, at our society, and also where we are so overly dependent on technology. However, at the same time, it does offer us a kind of a kick in the butt to move forward. And so this is the perfect example of that. I think that no matter what, people are always going to want to connect. And so technology is offering us that. And I think we need to enthusiastically embrace that.
Right.
I I do think that one positive element that is coming out of this is this state shelter at home situation that we're in California, at least, and many people around the world are in similar situations. Is it's forcing us to have family time,
Hmm.
and it's forcing us to go full on analog that way. You
Yes.
need to be present with your children. You need to be present with your parents or whomever you live with consistently, and be aware of other beings, and you know have empathy for others. So I think it's kind of making us see both together equally for the first time, and putting as much importance in both.
Yeah, that's a great point because I was feeling that as well. On the one side, you can kind of feel a little nervous about our dependency on technology. But, like in my neighborhood, we have a lot of people out walking and jogging. You see families out where if it's a normal Saturday, everyone's behind the wheel of their car.
Yeah,
Unless they're in a park, you're not
yeah,
just walking
exactly.
around in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
So you do see people getting out more and, like you're saying, spending that time with family, because if the people in your household
yeah,
are safe and haven't gotten the virus, then those are the people you can only hang out with.
yeah, and
So
you're
yeah.
forced to
Mhm.
insulate like that.
Yeah.
I do hope that people find that love, but then also still reach out socially distant,
Hmm.
with that appropriate distance,
Right.
but still you can still give people a lot of hope and kindness, even though you may be 6 feet apart.
Right.
I do have to say that I live in an area where, um, you know, people are always, I live, like I said, near the beach, and I'm
Hmm.
always moving up and about. I've gotten to know all my neighbors, and that's a really strange thing. Like,
Mhm.
in this area, at least, a couple, but not all. I'm like, hey guys, and I know the kids now, and so they
Right.
say hello from the sidewalk when they're walking, and we're in our house,
Mhm.
on our deck, and we have little conversations like that.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yep.
does, it's that is the silver lining in this.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree.
Hmm.
On to Westworld.
Yeah.